Welcome to part two. We're just waiting for Terry to join us. It shouldn't be too long. So it is what it is. Parker Zhang. We're all losing our minds over it, aren't we? Terry's not impressed by Parker, though, is he? Shocked me, that. Shocked me. Here we go. Here's Terry. I'm just saying, Terry, you're not impressed by Joseph Parker.
No, I'm not. Never have been.
Yeah. All right. Getting back to Crusher, what about Chris Conger, Michael McKinson? They never got a chance for him, did they?
No, because it was never the plan, Russ, was it? The plan was to incubate baby Ben until he got to a point where he could fight Eubank Jr. They were hoping Eubank could still hold 154, but Eubank kept growing. I kept fighting at 168, 160. And so Conor had to get to 160, right? That's why they did it at 157. They had to get there somehow. And that had always been the off-ramp for Conor Benn's career. Fight Eubank Jr. twice, make all your money, disappear and become a celebrity. That's why Conor's doing all of this to protect his image, because he really wanted to do stuff outside of boxing. And I don't think that's going to happen now because of his reputation.
Yeah, his reputation's down the toilet now, isn't it, really?
Sadly, mate. And that's what happens when you disrespect the fans and you assume the fans are stupid. You pay a heavy price.
You think he'll regret trying to beat Mayweather of Britain? You know, with roller and watches and the padded steering wheel nonsense, all that. Do you think he'll regret rubbing people's noses in it?
No, but we want our champions to be that, right? We can't complain about people being corporate and media trained, and then when they do stuff like that,
like Richie Woodall.
Yeah, you see all these guys that pretend to be humble and stuff. No, look, you're a young man with a ton of money. Go and buy a Rolls Royce. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, go and buy the house. Do all of that stuff because that's when you're meant to do it, Russ.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think it's a sad shame how it's ended up for Crusher then?
No, because we only really thought of Conor Benn in terms of Chris Eubank Jr., right? That's the only fight we didn't get. Is then what other fights can we think of that? Oh my God, we're not going to see Conor Benn versus Person X. There aren't any, because all roads led to Eubank Jr.
Do you think that fight's done forever, Terry? Now then?
Nah, there's too much money in it, man. Like, if someone were to put it on in Saudi, it would happen. I guarantee it would happen next. But I don't think it's that big.
Don't you?
It's only big here. Like, it would have to happen here. It would have to happen in the summer. And you could probably get a stadium. Now, I don't know which one would do it. Maybe the Emirates could do it. I mean, just get something like that.
Well, it's all a bit of a mess. But
it's why we love the sport, Russell.
This is why we love this sport so much, Johnny. Speaking of Bean rides again. He's all action.
I'm glad to have him back, mate. Like, in his absence, who's really stepped up?
Yeah. Bean did say explore other avenues, didn't he? And he's ended up commentating on boxing.
I think he could go anywhere, and he would be the lead commentator on any channel because he's the best at that. He is. There's no question about that. He's the best play-by-play guy that we've got.
Best narrator.
Yeah, but all the others kind of flatter to deceive, mate. And I'm not impressed.
What about when he goes into, and he showed me the design for a new tattoo on his elbow. It's going to be a spider's web, Matt. Do you remember that one?
But we miss all of that stuff when you find out what the kid was like a Cub Scout or whatever, and he got 3 9s in his sats, whatever it is, some random stuff he's just dug up on the kid.
What about Josh Warrington when we was over in Leeds, Johnny, and he showed me his stamp book collection. He had a penny black. Hey.
Mate, we miss it. As much as people make fun of Adam Smith, we miss Adam Smith in boxing.
What about Josh Taylor's? And there we went up to see Josh Taylor. He's got a lovely home and a motocross bike. And he did a wheelie by me and Johnny, didn't he, Johnny? What about when he were on ringside and he told that story to Larry Holmes about when he got his dictaphone and he went back to school in January after holidays and they were going around the playground talking into his dictaphone, going, "Down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier," all that. Just to come out with something like that. Brave, isn't it?
Yeah, listen.
You remember that?
Yeah. I want Adam Smith back and I want ringside back.
Yeah, I know. He's enthusiastic. We'll give him that, won't we? Old Bean. Eh? That name will stick with him forever, won't it now? Bean.
Oh my God. I don't even know where it came from.
Me?
But why?
Well, I called him it. I had all the names out, mate. You know that.
Oh my God.
Eh? You like Bean though, don't you?
Yeah, I think I think my thing in boxing is this. Are you stopping someone else from shining? If the answer is yes, then I have an issue with it. If the answer is no, then I just say carry on. Everyone had like, what was it, a year and a bit to make us forget Adam Smith, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah. Man of the moment. Sam Jones. He's here, he's there. He's everywhere. He's everybody's pal. He's me pal. He's me pal. He's not a pal of mine. What happened to him at that pantomime yesterday and day before, Terry? What were going on?
How do you describe? Like, I think I tweeted it and I said, Sam Jones has made me an Eddie Hearn fan because Sam. Remember back in the 90s, you had Pamela Anderson, right? Pamela Anderson got herself a boob job, but her boob job wasn't anything you hadn't seen in the real world. You see what I mean? It was like, yeah, she's had them done, but it's like, it's within what we can understand as human beings. Yeah. And then remember there was that woman on Eurotrash called Lolo Ferrari.
Yeah.
And she just went too far, us, right? And they were hideous and they were ridiculously big, and it was cartoonish. And that's how I feel when I see Sam Jones next to Eddie Hearn. Hearn, as annoying as Hearn is, Hearn kind of normally gets that balance right of being a serious boxing guy and being a knob, right? He gets the balance right more often than not. Sam Jones is just an idiot from top to toe, just a real idiot. Just that guy at school that you just drop kick for no reason. Because you knew he was, even if he didn't say it, you knew he was thinking something stupid. And you're like, I'm just going to kick you in the head anyway. And that's who Sam Jones is.
Yeah, he keeps reminding us, don't you, Samuel, about your involvement in this deal. Have you noticed, Terry, in every interview, he's reminding everybody that they're getting paid because of him. I think he lost his mind,
But why are they getting paid because of him?
The way he's getting his point across, I meant.
I'm trying to think. Because he didn't arrange the first fight, did he?
No.
And the first fight's a direct result. Well, the second fight's a direct result of the first fight. So I don't know what he did. And one of the quotes I heard was, Josh Taylor's getting his biggest payday. I'm like, no. That World Boxing Super Series was washing some serious money through. Mate, they were throwing money at boxers in that tournament. Josh would have made more money in that World Boxing Super Series than he's done since.
Yeah. Well, Sam's man of the moment. He's got his moment in the sun.
He's just an idiot, isn't he? Like he's just an idiot. And you know, sometimes people say, "I bet you wouldn't say it to his face." I'd easily say it to his face, mate. You're an idiot.
Trier though, isn't he?
He's what?
He's a trier.
But is he? Well, what are his success stories, Russ?
Well, this is it. You see, everybody blames him for Joe Joyce, don't they? But want it a collective thing to take the Zhang fight because they were parked up, weren't it?
No, well, you know, if you're this super manager, your guy shouldn't be parked up for a start. So, what are you doing? What are Sam Jones' success stories?
I don't know. He does a lot of interviews.
Yeah, but what fighter's gone, I wouldn't be earning this without Sam Jones? I haven't seen one person come out and say, I got to thank Sam Jones for putting money in my pocket.
Sam will be putting money in his.
And this is the point, right? Like, people will say, like, boxers, whether they work with Hearn or not, will say, look, love working with Matchroom. You fight, you get paid, right? That's what Matchroom are known for. You get paid as soon as you've done your work. You know, if you want to make some decent money, go to Matchroom. Like, there's nothing about Sam Jones. What's his value add? Nothing. And what he is he's one of those fans who think they can do better than everyone else, and then they show up and they turn out to be not very good, and that's what he is.
Do you think it's his fault that Catterall Taylor's took this long?
No, I think reality's come home to roost where Hearn has told Catterall, I don't have anything else for you. You know, I could put you in with Devin Haney, but that doesn't make economic sense because I got to pay Devin a lot of money, and quite frankly, Jack Catterall, you suck. So I don't have many options. I could feed you to someone like a Shakur Stevenson, but I don't even think they care about you. So you've got that problem with Jack Catterall. With Josh Taylor, Bob's gone, look, I gave you Teofimo to build you back up. That didn't work. If I feed you to Crawford, you're going to get smoked anyway. And so I can't feed you to Crawford after a defeat. If you can beat Catterall, your next fight is Crawford. I can guarantee that if Taylor wins this fight, it's Crawford. And then I don't think you'll see Josh again.
No?
Nah, he'd have done everything he wanted to do in boxing. He'd have been undisputed. He'd have fought the guy that was undisputed before him and was undisputed in the weight class above him. He'd share the ring with a future all-time great. I think Crawford would be a future top 10, top 20 guy. He'd have done everything in his career that he wanted to do. There'd be nothing left to do after that.
Yeah. And where will that leave Sam Jones then if Catterall loses?
Can someone just leave him in the desert, please?
Are we going to have all these Sam Jones pantomime presses from now on?
Yes, because he appeals to that kind of small-minded minority. You know, the sort of people that drink far too much Carling in the winter. He'll appeal to those sorts of guys because they love the fact that he just gets on a microphone and says what he wants. You know, those sort of people who call themselves anti-woke. Sam Jones will appeal to those types of guys. And, you know, I'm not saying whether that's right or whether that's wrong. I'm just saying it is what it is. I just think he's insufferable, mate. He's a car crash. Like, yeah, he's a car crash.
Yeah. I'm a bit disappointed with Joe Joyce and all that carry on when they were not forcing that letter to WBO because the time limit were up, wasn't it? Why did they not enforce it? Why
Well,
you know?
I think the answer is, Russ, there's an agreed order those belts are going to get fought for, right? So that's yeah. So the governing bodies have said it's the IBF next, then it's the WBO, and that had always been the order. And all we're doing now is getting jerked around with rematches and delays and this and that, and Fury fighting Ngannou. And that's what's held. Like, remember I said this before, just scatter the damn belts. Yeah, just scatter the belts in every weight class and then start again. And let's have a rule that there will be no unifications ever.
Yeah. Yeah, people holding belts hostage like Fury. Since Vladimir, we've had 100 months gone by. He's had 10 fights.
But he's not holding his belt hostage, though. Because he only has one, right?
Yeah.
And he won it in Wilder 2. Defended it in Wilder 3. But who did he fight after that? Did he fight Dillian after that?
Dillian, Chisora, and then Ngannou.
So the Dillian one is the one that everyone made noise about, like fight him. So he did that. And then he said, okay, I just beat Dillian, so I'm just going to have a bit of an easy one, fight Derek. And then he was offered stupid money to fight Ngannou. But at various points, I think he said I'd fight Joshua, but who knows what really happens. I just think they're all messing this game about. Like, one person having 3 belts is not good. Just scatter the belts in every weight class. Let everybody just start fighting fight for belts, get to mandatory. That's it. And every champion gets a mandatory, a voluntary, a mandatory, a voluntary, and you have to fight twice a year. If you're injured, you vacate the belt immediately.
Yeah. Buddy McGirt. He's not having a good time of it lately, is he? Has his bubble burst, and is he not the go-to guy no more?
So this is tricky because I spent time around Buddy, and it's hard to really hammer someone you know. You know this, Russ. It's difficult. I will say, what's the problem people are trying to solve by going to Buddy McGirt? That's my question. What are you trying to solve by going to Buddy? Do you know why you're going there? I think a lot of times Brits just go because the name sounds good. It's like when Miguel Cotto went to Freddie Roach. Miguel had learned everything he ever needed to know boxing-wise. I think he trained under like Pedro Diaz or someone like that. So he had learned everything he needed to learn. All he needed was Freddie to get his attack sharp, get him more attack-minded, get him, being the old Miguel Cotto. And he just needed a new environment. That's all he needed as a trainer. What did Callum Smith need when he went to Buddy McGirt? Because he's not boxing like a Buddy McGirt guy. With Dan Aziz, I understand why he ended up with Buddy McGirt, because Brian O'Shaughnessy wasn't available. And had Brian been available, Dan would have stayed with Brian. But I think a lot of these guys are working with Buddy too late in their career. If you're going to be a Buddy McGirt guy, you got to do it from the start, is my opinion. And I feel this with a lot of these really good trainers. You've got to get there early. Like, look, Hamza Shiraz has gone and worked with the guys like Tengus, and he's done that early in his career. So he's more receptive to their ideas. Like, he will be a Tengus type guy. I don't know if the guys who are with Buddy McGirt are going there too late, but it seems that way.
Yeah. Do you think that Dylan White will come back?
What would he come back for? He'd only come back for money, right?
Yeah.
And we still don't know what happened about that positive drug test that he had. So that we need to know what happened with that. And I don't think he will do any media until that's resolved. Deep down, he'll probably fight Joshua and call it a day.
Do you think he'll get a ban?
He may be serving one now. We don't know. Like, these are the questions we need to be asking.
Yeah.
Because when's the last time he fought? It's got to be a year and a half now.
He's not fought for a while, has he?
fought Franklin in October 2022.
Long time, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So he may go a year and a half at his age without fighting. It gets hard because if nothing else, look at Joshua. Joshua just stayed active. You know, he kept to his word. He said, "I want to be more active," and he has been.
Yeah. Light heavyweight division, Terry.
Okay.
Yard, Smith, Boatsi, Dan Aziz, Ben Whitaker. Can we put Ben Whitaker in with Dan Aziz now?
You could, but I wouldn't, and I'm going to explain why. When you've got someone like Ben, you don't want to put many miles on the clock, right? You want all of Ben's miles to be just championship miles, right? So you want to feed him guys who will help him get to that kind of 12-round distance without crushing his ribs or hurting. All right? And I'm not saying Ben can't. I'm not saying Ben can't take the shots. He can. It's just take them when you need to take them. So fighting Dan now, probably not the best thing for him because Dan's heavy-handed. But there are other guys in that light heavyweight mix, and normally smart boxing people will start phoning guys like Andre Sterling. You'd give Matthew Tinker a call at this point and say, mate, I know we offered you Dan last time, but do you want to come and have one last fight in Northwest London for your people? And he'd probably do that. So I think there are options for Ben that don't involve Dan, but there'll be a time for him to fight Dan, 100%. Just like there'll be a time for him to fight Boatsi, there'll be a time for him to fight Yard. That's the fight I'd be more intrigued with, actually. Ben Whitaker versus Anthony Yard. I'd be intrigued with that fight.
Would you?
Yeah.
Or would you make a favourite if they fought now?
I'd make Yard the favourite, but I'd have a 10 on the upset.
Where's Callum Smith fit into all this now then? Because nobody seems to beat the drum for him ever, do they? And he always seems to get good paydays.
Russ, the thing is, we don't know how good he is. Like that's what it is. We don't know how good he actually is. So if we're saying his best win is George Groves, that's a one-armed George Groves. Who's after that in the list? John Ryder. That's a controversial win.
He had one arm, didn't he, George Groves, for that fight, didn't
he? Yeah. John Ryder, controversial result, definitely. People calling for a rematch on that one. So who's there? Who's left? Rocky Fielding?
Hassan and Dam?
Yeah, and that Hassan and Dam was a 160 guy.
Yeah, an old guy as well when he got hold of him, wasn't he?
So you look at Callum Smith's record, and it's not what you think it should be. For all the talk of him and who he is, what he's achieved, his record doesn't speak to someone who really took risks with his career.
He's had it off financially, hasn't he?
Yeah, give his team credit for that because he's made a lot of money and taken very little risk.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we've not really seen him in a firefight, have we? In a proper humdinger, have we?
Nah, he tried with Beterbiev, but Beterbiev was just too much of everything for him.
What do you think of that fight, Terry?
It didn't make sense. You had a feeling that Beterbiev would run through Callum Smith. I've never believed Callum is this heavy-handed guy that people say he is. I just think he's been lucky his whole career. He was just born into the right family.
They've all done all right at the job, though, aren't they, Smiths?
Credit where credit's due. Like I don't want to see boxers on skid rows. You'd say, Russ. I want to see them able to live mortgage-free, debt-free, trouble-free. So if he can do that, congratulations to him. In fact, congratulations to all of them.
Yeah, even Paul Smith.
Yeah, his lad boxed not long ago. I think his lad boxed. He boxed in the schoolboys or something. Yeah, he's young. His young lad boxed. So the Smith family continues.
I was a Paul Smith groupie, wasn't I, years ago?
Yeah, you've been groupie for a lot of guys who how do you put it?
Let me down.
Who get smashed by Andre Ward.
Get stuff.
Hey,
Your man Andre Ward, the man who didn't fight Durrell in Super Six or Booty because they were southpaws.
would have beaten both of them. Hey,
Hey, he didn't fight them, eh? Who took the zeros? The Cobra. You know that, kid. You know. What do you think to Cobra's beef with Big John Fury, big fighting man, and all this? You're not allowed to criticise the Fury and you get banned and all this and lose your press pass. Do you think it's all a bit controlling now?
mate, I don't know. I listen to Froch, and it looks like Froch is taking inspiration from someone. I can't think who, but he's definitely getting his weapons of mass destruction from somewhere. Be interesting to know where he's getting them from. But I like seeing Carl on the front foot, though. It suits him. Yep. Carl being the voice of the boxing hardcores, I think that's his lane. I think that's where he's going to get like his third act in boxing, if that makes sense. Just as that voice of the hardcores.
Yeah, he's not bothered, Carl, is he now in his interviews or what he said, how he just tells it straight, like with Anthony Joshua. He's still not convinced, is he?
He's not, but I tell you what, though, Joshua's kind of gone back to the top of the mountain just by being consistent and watching everyone fall around him.
Yeah. He's not back at the top of the mountain because I never really thought he were at the top of the mountain myself. Anyway, I always thought that he were very carefully matched.
Right. It'll be interesting. Because remember I said to you, when did I say to you? I said it to you after the Franklin fight. I said all roads lead to a third Usyk fight for Joshua.
Yeah. You know, when you look at his CV and you look at Lennox Lewis's and Muhammad Ali's, they've got roadmen after roadmen on their CVs, haven't they?
Real killers, yeah.
Killers. You know, that guys who didn't win the title, Ernie Shavers and David Tour, but killers in their own right. You know what I mean? Who reigned today, wouldn't they?
Yeah, you guys like Ray Mercer. Jesus.
Oscar Bonavida. Do you know what I mean?
All those guys would cause havoc now. Why? Because they can box and they threw more punches back then.
You know, some great guys on the city. Cleveland Williams were a world champion as well, wasn't he? WBA. You know what I mean? Ali destroyed him, didn't he?
Yeah, and remember that was the only belt then, wasn't it? Wasn't it just that the WBA was the only belt you could really fight for?
I mean, if you look at it, Ali beat Floyd Patterson twice, right? He were Olympic gold in '56. He beat Fraser twice. He were Olympic gold in '64. He beat Foreman. He were Olympic gold '68. And he beat Spinks, a 1976 Olympic gold medalist. He weren't bothered, Ali, were he, from any era, where he just wanted to fight them all and prove that he were a bad cat, didn't he?
And that's what you want in boxing.
And Lennox Lewis's CB is just the same, in it, really.
Yeah, but they're from that kind of ethos of if you believe in yourself, you'll fight anyone.
You know, and nowadays, and I look at them all, and you know, a lot of these fighters that there's not that many get to be millionaires, but in years to come, they'll look at the Senzit mirror. Well, when they're sat there with a pot belly and the Mark 20 Range Rover outside and the Rolls Royce, I hope they look at mirror and say, do you know what? Did I really test myself? But I don't know, maybe society's changed that much. I don't know. But then I look at the mindsets of these Russians like Lomachenko, Usyk, the Klitschko's, them Eastern Europeans, Golovkin, Kovalev, Usyk, all them lot. And you never hear them go on about dough, do you? Bivol and them. They never go on about dough. They're not flashy. They're all respectful. And you just get the impression with them people, it's about legacy and the money will come. That kind of thing.
And that's all you want, Russ. That's all you want. You want people to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah, and there you get that they're the best versions of themselves, aren't they? And I think we're our lot, and Americans let themselves down. I think social media gets a grip of them. I think it does, honestly.
Yeah, I think people act up for social media.
Because they never seem to, we never get, they're never involved in any scandals or them lot, are they? Or they're just proper down to earth businessmen, aren't they? And
I don't know
goodbye.
who. Didn't Kovalev punch a Rottweiler?
I think he's probably wildest one out of all that lot, Kovalev, isn't
Yeah,
he?
but we've talked about this before, Russ. They treat it like a job.
Yeah.
You're in the gym every day. You may not do anything boxing related, but you're in the gym every day doing stuff every day because it's your job.
Some of their training regimes and that. I mean, Usyk, when they went that YouTube thing, he was sleeping in a barn. Right. I don't know if that's for effect or if they really do it, but you wouldn't put it past it, would you? He was sleeping in a barn, right, and his ice baths were a fish pond. So they don't need all this high tech stuff, do they, out there?
No, they find ways to get busy.
It's just raw training, isn't it? And raw hard. A lot of it's more mental. I saw Usyk on one of them machines, where he were having to press numbers that were flashing up. And did you see it?
Yeah.
Coordination stuff and all that. And they're into all that ping pong ball on their heads and all that, that head thing.
Yeah.
They're quite smart how they do things, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think sometimes you got to just my ethos of training is keep it really simple. It's a sport about skills and work rate. If you can get those to a high level, you're laughing. And those two guys have those at a really high level.
Yeah. 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 Do you think Usyk will deal with Fury then?
I'll go back to what Shane Fury said. Maybe Tyson's done. If Tyson's not done, then he'll win this fight. If he is done, he can't win this fight.
Yeah. Well, they'll soon know when he gets in there if all these rumours are true. But these rumours about him being dropped and manhandled by Opatia, if it did happen, they'll have been told to shut their mouths anyway because they're all as one now, aren't they? If they weren't all as one, Eddie Hills would be shouting that from rooftops, wouldn't
he? Yeah, but also, like, when people say, Opatia drop Fury, where does this even come from, Russ?
Johnny Nelson's mole.
Because a friend of mine was in the camp for a bit, right? He was asked to babysit a couple of the heavyweights out there. And he was saying, no. Fury was handling people well. So he was really positive in terms of what he saw. Just really interested that Fury does about anywhere between 24 and 30 rounds a week of sparring, which I thought was insane.
Yeah, I've just had a text message here. Johnny Horsecock Nelson is strolling round the fountains in Sheffield. Spread the news to all the ladies. He's a bachelor.
Nah, come on, man. Like that's a middle-aged man sending you that text message, Russ. Like, that guy needs to do better at life.
People need to get out more, don't they?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think to all that beef with him in the GAD and that? Because they're saying that the GAD's become a PR guy for Furies and blah blah blah, and because any news that goes out about the Furies, the GAD comes out and turns it on its head. Doesn't he? Anything, doesn't he? Oh no, I heard it was Opatia that was dropped by Tyson. You know, he just flips it on his head, and him and Johnny have had a bit of intense beef, haven't they?
The Gads in no position to ever go head to head with Johnny Nelson. Like Johnny Nelson's been a world champion. Gareth A. Davis still beats off to what's her name?
Ebony Bridges.
Ebony Bridges. That's it. So
the Muhammad Ali of female boxing, according to the Gad.
Ah, well, there you go. That's the early onset dementia for the guy.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that video he did about her? Do you remember?
Weird. It was weird.
Comparing her to Ali. Oh my God.
This is the problem with boxing. They're the sort of people we need to root out of boxing. You know, those kind of unserious people who just want to be clowns and court jesters for the views and hope that they get a Wow Hydrate endorsement, or you know what I mean? Who knows?
They need something, mate, don't they? They need something. We'll finish off on this then. Joshua or Ngannou?
With every week, I get more nervous for Joshua now. The boys in the gym think Ngannou's chin is too much. I think Joshua's power is too much. I'm going to back Joshua. I genuinely think when AJ hits him properly with the right hand, Ngannou's going to go, oh, this is what boxing really is. And I don't think he will survive it. I think Joshua will stop Ngannou. And that's when you'll hear Joshua go, someone had to bring the honor back to boxing.
If Joshua stops him early, everybody else turn around and say Fury's definitely shot to bits. Won't they? That's what they'll say, won't they?
And so they should. Fury should have dealt with him easily.
I know Fury, this master defensive genius, but yet in the last 70 rounds, he's been down 5 times.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is overblown. Like I said, he got away with a lot by being a 6'8", 6'9" guy with long arms. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he rid the storm out, didn't he, against Wilder and Ngannou. So he's got heart, hasn't
he? Yeah, you have to respect that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, he's got heart, but can he keep going to the well? Can he keep going to it against Usyk when he's buzzing around him like a wasp, hitting him with combinations and moving inside and out?
That's what the Usyk we saw against Dubois. Remember that?
Well,
we saw a more conventional heavyweight performance against Dubois. Fewer punches, better quality punches probably, and more ring nails. I think we saw from Usyk. And I think that's a sign that Usyk's also slowing down.
Well, we're going to see, aren't we, in May?
Yeah, this is why we love the sport, Russ.
This is why we love this sport so much, Matt. Okie dokie. Well, listen, thanks for coming on, Terry. You've been a real...
No worries, mate.
You take care.
Take care, pal. Bye.
Bye. Well, that was Terry from London. He's a banker, Terry. Women love him, men want to be him. That's about it. Hope everybody has a great day. Go on, peace out. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Booyaka.